Welcome to Dynamic Thriving Podcast. I am your host, Marianne Pack, your spiritual guide into all things life transformational. And I am so happy to present my guest today, Olivia Florian, of oliviaflorian.com. So thank you, Olivia, for joining me today on the podcast.
Yes, thank you for the invitation. I'm so thrilled to be with you.
Yes. So Olivia is coming to us from Sweden. So she's across the pond, and I'm so happy that we have this capability to be together and to come together to create this beautiful energy of love and joy and new information and transformation. So let's set our intention today. And for this segment of our day, we want to commit to living by design and not by default anymore, actually creating our lives with joy and love so that we're not just surviving, but we're thriving, that we're fully alive, that we're aligned with who we really are. So hold in your mind your intention to live fully alive, because that is our topic today. So Olivia, let's just get started. I want to ask you, who is Olivia Florian and what good things do you bring to the world?
Yeah, who am I? A big question, but I'm a recovering engineer. as you named it, I'm in Sweden and French actually. And I grew up and started with interest in the engineering world and loved that for a while until I didn't anymore at all, because there was only a part of me that was available in that world. That it was, you could cut this part and you had the most of me in the engineering world. And that's not all of me, as you can just understand it, especially knowing that I'm pretty emotional. I have been all of my life, and in that culture, it's not
acceptable.
They're not really acceptable. It's even something that is viewed as weak in different ways. So I've been trying to control that, to be more polished, and it didn't work. It took so much energy, and there were all the other layers that didn't really fit with my soul, with my longings, with what I was really there for. So that's where I started, and then there has been a breaking point where things didn't work at all and felt so wrong. So I went on a quest, and I discovered more and more about myself, about how the world is functioning. I studied different things like natural agriculture, so to understand, the global aspects of lives, and then understanding that what we are doing comes from the inside. We are creating the world outside from the inside. So all my years in the how do you call that, environmental movement, have been showing me that the difference between people engage with their heart and those who cannot, that there is this awareness of what are we doing, and can we listen to the heart. So that journey. So that's, and one breadcrumbs after another breadcrumbs, I reconnected with my artistic side. I reconnected with something that is much more expressive, much more in the body. So I'm integrating my layers, my parts, and I want to bring that to others, because I noticed the more I can integrate, invite all these parts, give them the importance they have, the more I can stand in the world, the more I can thrive and open and feel good with others, because suddenly I'm saying, I am all these things. And even when I'm telling you right now, I can just feel, as if I'm opening doors in my aliveness, and I can feel like, oh, and one more part, and one more part. Can we talk about one more, so that I can feel even more settled and be as big as I just am? So, yeah. give you a picture.
Yes, I like that. I like that you talked about breadcrumbs, because that's the way it always is. We don't jump from where we are to like maybe where we want to be. We don't just zoom over there. We have these little steps along the way as we start incorporating who we really are, all these aspects of who we are, so that we're this well-rounded, complete wholeness of a person, spirit, mind, and body. We don't have to suppress
Yeah.
the emotional, creative side of us, because we're only living in our logical mind. So I like that you're, just incorporating all those layers back together. It's like you're remembering all those members,
Exactly.
putting all those members back together, and you're remembering who you are.
Yeah. And I really love this remembering, because that's exactly the feeling 10 years ago. I was wondering, feeling parts of me, roles of me, the mom, the engineer, the lover of the garden. It was like, how do they fit together? And this one, I don't know. No, it's not really allowed, or it has no space in that space. And I felt really scattered.
Yes.
I couldn't feel. And then once I was into my quest, things were coming together. People that I knew from one world came from another side, and discovered and feeling like, oh, my world is weaving itself together. So this remembrance, so it's really a coming back to center, a coming back to picking up a piece that has been lonely somehow, because we try to isolate, to compare, to make it in different boxes. And we are not different boxes, or we feel very weird and small and constrained when we try to have the very professional side on one side, and then the heartfelt side here. And no.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. You just don't feel the wholeness. You don't feel the fulfilling life. When you lay your head on the pillow at night, you just feel like, what am I doing? Nothing seems to flow. There's not that grace and ease and flow that I want in my life when you're compartmentalized like that, when you're all torn apart. But as we start bringing that wholeness of who we are and blending it all and moving forward from maybe things we have to leave. Like I know you said you left your corporate job, your engineering job, because you needed to explore more of your life. Yeah. And I like how you call yourself, and I want you to explain it a little bit. I like how you refer to yourself as a creative evolutionary catalyst. Tell our audience a little bit about what that means in your work.
Yeah, it's really honoring the fact that at the deepest level, we are all creatives. We are creators, as a spiritual being that creates its world from the inside out. So and also creative in the sense that I love express in different ways, in creative ways, with paint, with movement, whichever ways. We have so many possibilities actually as human beings to create. And also this side of knowing that I'm not fixed, I'm not something all of my life. I'm something that is blossoming slowly, ever blossoming. It's not, there is no finished blossom anytime. It's just all the time we are evolving. So it's reminding me that creatively I'm evolving. And catalyst, because I want to bring it, it's like make that thing that more clear for anyone I'm touching, that you are this creation, this constant creation, evolving, blossoming more and more. So that's the catalyst that just makes, just by being in that process myself, I can just bring you aware to that's all good to be evolving. That's just the best thing that can happen.
Oh, yeah. Change is inevitable. I mean, we are here to grow, and you can't stop growth. It's just a matter of whether you decide to do it by design or by default. You just let life hit you in the face and you don't know how to handle it, or you do it by design. So evolution is inevitable. We are not stagnant. Like you said, there's not that stagnant. We're not a stagnant being. We have to change. We have to change and grow, and it's up to us how much we want to grow and to what we're growing into. Are we creating our lives just over and over again? Just maybe different faces, different places? Or are we actually creating it to be new and fresh and open to possibilities and that creative force that we're doing in this right now? So every time we think about our future or what we're creating, we're doing it right here, right now. That's where our magical creative power lives. So what do you mean by being fully alive? Because that's our topic today,
Yes, exactly.
about being fully alive.
So what is it, and what does it take for being fully alive? For me, it's when I can feel the flow of life, and when I'm engaged with life. So I'm present, I'm curious, I'm animated in a very, it's like with a lightness.
Yeah.
Compared to the moments where things feels grave, heavy, I'm not in touch with possibilities. I'm not in touch with the beauty of being here, and what makes the difference from this very different. And as a very emotional being, I really know the high range and the low range, and so and really wondering, I was so alive here. I'm so almost so depressed, so gray, so flat. What's the difference? And we named already from the beginning a few of the ingredients of being more of myself. So allowing more parts of me to take space, to be completely okay that I have a creative side that I am proud of, and I'm giving it space time. And I have a rational side, and then I have this sensual sexual being, a woman in her sexuality, and then I have the mother part. So all this part, or I have this introvert part that goes more slow, more inside before coming back to people. So really, that's ownership of different aspects and facets of who I am as a unique human being. This is already giving me so much space, because when I believe that there is something wrong with me being slow in responding, needing time to take in information, then there is this, struggling against myself. There is so much energy that is wasted to try to be something else, to be different. Yeah. Or if I believe that there is something wrong, to enjoy my body as a sensual sexual being, as soon as there is, then I will wonder, am I too provocative here? Am I, and I will try to hide that side in different ways, or it's too many questions, it's too much airtime, and it takes energy and it drains me down, because then I don't believe that I'm completely okay. So when there is always something that is in the background saying, don't show that, don't let them know that.
Yes.
It's really draining. So that's really one big area where you can really have so many layers of aspects that we are judging, that we have been judged into, because what we are judging on ourselves is something that we have integrated from our culture, families, the way life has showed up when we were younger.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's the unpacking of all that.
Yeah. Yes. I like that. The unpacking and owning it. I like how you said that you're owning all of these aspects. You're not saying, oh, this part of me is wrong, or comparing myself to so and so over here who lives a different life, or,
Yeah.
you know, I might see aspects in them that I love, but I won't own it for myself. But yet that's who I am. So I love that you're acknowledging that we have to own those, all those parts of us, all the members, and put them all back together again, because that's how we were intended when we came here to live on this earth. When we came into this earth, this life, we were fully alive. And then we kind of lost our way by, like you said, training, learning things. Oh, squelch that. Oh, you can't show that side. That's not safe. And so we hide all those parts and stuff them down. And like you said too, that is exhausting energy.
Yeah.
So you cannot be fully alive until you own all the parts of you.
Yeah.
I like that. So do you see like clients who are living less than being fully alive? Like when people come to work with you, you know, how do you help them recognize that they're living small or not fully alive? And how do you, what are some of the things that you do with them to bring them forward into owning that full life that they want to live?
Well, there is always I have one tool that is just exploring a few aspects that I call my pillars, that are the creativity, the sensual part of us, the body part of us, the emotional part, and our connection to source. And we can invest, we can do a form of assessment and just notice from this prompt what's going on. And noticing that, oh, I'm trying to do something in my creativity, but it doesn't feel really good. And then we go to the sensuality, and then it's, oh, here it's closed. Here there is no space. Or so by exploring these different topics, we can just see that, I'm using creativity, sensuality in that sense that it's life force in the same way. It's creative life force.
Yes.
And if we block one end, the other end cannot go as long as it really can go. So it's really feeling, oh, is there an addictive way of being? Because when we repress something, we can either go in the addiction of trying to get it. So if we repress pleasure, we can compulsively, we will find ways to have that pleasure, or we go very depressed. So someone feeling not finding the joys of life. So it's listening and asking, what is it, the thing that you actually love and crave to do, that is shut down in a way, and that and hear the story that we are telling ourselves around it.
Yeah, I think sometimes, don't you think, when you talk with your clients, you're helping them to ask questions in areas that they may not have even considered was an issue, because it's been so blocked out of their life, they don't even feel like, oh, that's not even a part of me. You know, I'm not creative, or I'm not sensual anymore, or I'm not whatever. And when you start asking questions and diving a little deeper, peeling back layers that may have gotten, piled on top of an aspect of you and holding it down. It's like that. It's like peeling back those layers, because you're actually being curious to help them be curious about their own life in asking questions. Yeah. So what are some of the ways that when you work with people that you help them wake up to more life, to this alive? Like, are there, like, if I come to you, which I have, I mean, we've been in programs together. I have been in your program, so I know, but I want you to tell everybody, what are one or two things that would even help people to start being curious about their own, pulling their life back together into the wholeness of who they are?
Yes, there are different things. And one thing that is really acknowledging that we are multidimensional beings. So we have this body, we have the mind, the spirit, and really, and the very first layer, so many of us in our society, we have put the rational parts over everything, and diminished what is intuition, where it comes from. We don't believe that our bodies are intelligent. We are treating them as things that we need to fix and take care, without really understanding that if we allow ourselves to be fully who we are, and the body has an own intelligence, the feelings are our own guiding systems. So really getting aware of what are the stories that we are telling around our body, and coming back to it, coming back to the present, because the mind goes planning further, worrying further, or worrying about what happened before. And so come back to the body. So I love bring back any session that I do, bring back to the body, bring awareness to what's going on, move it, let it. Learn also that, yes, your body wants to move in its own way if you allow it. So
yes,
if you play, because it knows that I'm not feeling good when I'm in that, strange shrink position. So if I allow it to unwind, it's like, oh, here I have airspace, my shoulder go back. So when we are playing with that again and listening to, oh yeah, my body goes there, or at other times when we have forced ourselves being out while we need to be more on the inside, the body will also show that actually it wants to go cuddle and around. So just playing with the body, playing more and getting more consciousness through movement, and noticing what's going on, what's the message that is coming through. So yes, body definitely is one of the primary tools reconnecting to the present moment. And also through that, we can also listen more to what are the emotions and reconnect that to how it guides us, because emotions are not this thing to be controlled and be left at the door, right. But they are telling something about what are my thoughts guiding me towards what I want to achieve, or are my thoughts actually leading me somewhere where I feel so bad, because I feel bad because I'm just reinforcing what I don't want.
Yes, I teach that a lot, definitely, that our feelings, our emotions actually tell on our thoughts every single time, because every thought has an emotional response. And just like Olivia was saying, when you look at your emotions, what emotions you're feeling, it can help you identify where your thoughts have been.
Yeah.
If you take notice during the day, throughout the day, times when you check in with yourself, how am I feeling emotionally? And then sit back and think, either I'm feeling good and those thoughts have been leading me to that good feeling, then you're going in the direction of what you want. But if you check in and you're feeling negative or down or, suppressed or any kind of negative emotion, it's simply telling you you're just not thinking in the same manner that your inner being, your intuition is thinking about you.
Yeah.
So it's just, you're going in the direction of thoughts that will take you away from what you want or towards what you don't want, because they're all about worry or fear or, you're struggling. And I like how Olivia in her programs, she does allow us time to allow our body to move freely in sessions and become much more attuned to our body feels and the message that our body is giving us. Because like she said, sometimes we push ourselves to be out there in the world and, oh, we're going to, go to this activity, or I'm going to push through and go to this networking meeting because I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And yet on that particular day, your body is saying, we need rest or we need to pull back. And just being sensitive. I like how Olivia always teaches us to be sensitive to what our body's message is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really an attunement, because the more you do it, the more you can use it because to begin with, it's really something that we are training for itself. But the more you're doing it, the more it's like in the middle of a conversation, in the middle of doing something, you can notice that, oh, I'm getting really tense in my belly, or I'm not breathing anymore. Then you can catch up. It has changed my relationship to my mother in the last year, when I just like, hey, I need to stop saying what I'm saying, Mom. I'm not, because I could feel, I've learned that, this is not leading me in a good place. I feel just how agitated, how contracted. Okay, let's take a breath. Let's see what I really want to achieve here, and then just catch yourself. Okay, that's not life-giving.
Right.
I can just feel how my energy is going away, and then I find a subject. Oh yeah, that's a good thing that has happened today. I'm rejoicing about it. I want to see, and then suddenly I see how, oh, this puts me in good spirits. I'm open. I'm alive again. Whatever has happened before, there is definitely a magic just allowing myself, coming back to the gratitude, the appreciation of life, whatever is working. So focusing on, actually, yes, I could tell you long stories about all the gray that has happened, but if I choose this light thing that also I hear, then I can also see how much more of it I can create. And I just have more energy to do more of it, because I'm allowing my energy to flow in the direction I want it to flow. So it's really,
I like that how you said, even if you're talking to your mom or when we're anytime in conversation and we feel a tension building, that is our body telling us, don't go down this path. That's our intuitive gut knowing, our feeling that is divine, that's trying to do those steps, those breadcrumbs, those, guidance. Because I remember this just completely reminded me of this time that I was practicing this, trying to be more mindful about what I was talking about, because I know that creates my future. Because Randy and my husband and I were sitting on the porch as we always do every morning. And I was going to tell him something. And all of a sudden, I got this gut feeling of, don't say that. That is not uplifting. That's not life giving. It wasn't something horrible, but it was just enough of like a complaining, or I can't remember exactly what it was about, but it was like my spirit, my body said, that will not feed us.
Yeah.
That will put, not only will we feel bad as a whole, but you're also putting those thoughts out for Randy to have to think about. So what I was living was going to affect him. And I immediately stopped short in the conversation because I had gotten the first few words out of the sentence. And then immediately I stopped because I felt it. I knew this was not life-giving. And he said, were you going to say something? And I said, absolutely not. You didn't need to hear that. We don't need to talk about that because that would not be life-giving. So I like how you, and also how you changed the subject. Because when you start noticing that feeling, that tension in your body, or that gut knowing, or that you just have this knowing that that's not a good direction, or you start feeling that negativity coming in, that tension. So it's time to change the subject. I love how you said, hey, this is a good subject to talk about. This is life-giving. This is exciting. This is joyful. I really appreciate that you brought out that, yes, sometimes we have to completely change the subject.
Yeah, and it's been so opening to discover that it's not about digging into what feels the most problematic area of my life to get better result there, but instead of, okay, yes, right now I see when I try to enter here, my energy is going really down. So what can I do to find myself, to feel again more life moving in me? And it's like, I don't know anyone in the audience. Have you ever been in this situation? You think about a problem, you're seeking for solution, and it doesn't come, and you go for a walk, stop to think about that thing, and just enjoy, relax, and then suddenly inspirations flow. Suddenly,
Yes.
oh, I can do that. And that's exactly that. Yes. It's changing the subject. It's like, oh, my body tells me that here I'm shrinking, here I'm my beliefs, whatever is going on in me goes in a heavier. Then it's time to do something else, a conscious distraction, because yes, distraction can be the worst thing that we go blind, but noticing, okay, this wasn't helping and it will not help to, I've tried it many times to push through, to go through, and then feel like a lot of effort for a result that is really not enhancing my life.
Absolutely.
And so self-care, go for a walk, remember a subject that you love, move, dance, which whatever you know is in the moment available and can lift you up. And really, you will see the magic come of, oh, here it is, here I can do that. Oh yeah. So it opens, so solutions come from a mind that is quiet, that is not working, trying to put things together all the time.
Yeah, because again, I teach the law of attraction. And so anything you focus your attention on is what expands. So you have to stop and think, what do I want to expand in my life? Yeah. And like you said, opening ourselves to oh, we've just been beating our heads against the wall about this problem or this decision. And then we just go, fine, I'll go take a walk. And so you go out in nature, or you take a hike, or you take a nap, or a warm bath, or something that is soothing.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get that quieted mind back, then the solutions start coming, because the solution and the problem are on very two different vibrational frequencies. It's like Einstein talked about. We can't use the same thinking for the solution that we created the problem in, because they're so diametrically opposed. And understanding that, yes, you have to recognize there might be a problem or whatever, but you don't stay there. You don't unpack and live.
Exactly.
You want to move into the direction of the solution. And that's always, like you said, appreciation, gratitude. The fastest way to alignment and peace and joy and solutions and answers is get in an attitude of appreciation, gratitude, something you are so thankful for. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, completely. And really it's been, for me, the journey has been tricky. I've been so conditioned as so many of, hey, you need to look at the problem.
Yes.
You cannot ignore the problem. Yes, you need to know it. But once you really understand, okay, this is it. And I cannot find my energy is going down. Okay, this is the problem. There will be a solution there, but let me go to a place where I feel good, so that my inspirations comes from more of what I want, and not from that problem. I remember years when I was studying, but beginning to interest myself to permaculture, there was a beautiful documentary, but they stayed a long bit in the beginning, describing all the problems in the world.
Yes.
And I could just feel like it was 15 minutes of describing the problems. And I felt so bad. And I was beginning to wonder if I wanted to look at that documentary more, until they came to people who were talking about what they could do. So I could really feel, here is my energy going down, down, down. I didn't need to hear as much about the problem. I needed to hear, and here we do that, and we observe, and we take care of that, and see all the solutions. So all the creativity that is engaged to create what you want, instead of looking at, we don't want that, we don't want that, we don't want that. No, but we want green, we want life, we want joy. So yes, it's really.
I have definitely felt the same way. When I watch a documentary, it's like, I want to see the solution, but they spend so much time on the problem that, yeah, like you said, you just get worn down and you go, are they ever going to get to the solution part? And that's exactly what we do in our minds.
Yeah.
We spend so much time talking about the problem. We join groups and we complain in the groups. We vent on our Facebook page. All of these things that are only pronouncing the problem more. So as soon as we quiet and go, because I know that in the law of attraction, every problem is immediately the solution is created. Because as soon as you see something you don't like, you immediately know what you do want instead, what you would prefer, the improvement you would like to see. Even if you don't have it verbally, vibrationally, you know the solution.
Yeah.
And then if you don't be quiet and spend some quiet time or in appreciation, you will not find that solution. But as soon as you quiet yourself, as soon as you start listening to your body, your intuition, you're, walking in nature, doing whatever that maybe changes the subject for the time. You have to sort of break that momentum of the snowball of the problem. So you have to break that cycle so that you can start moving toward that quiet solution that comes.
Yeah.
Because to me, every time that I've, discovered a solution, it's always been in quiet. I've not been talking. There's not a lot of distractions going on. I've been feeling good emotionally because I chose to be in an attitude of gratitude or appreciation. And then the solution it's like, bing, there it is, the light bulb of, discovery. So you're so very creative. And when you have an opportunity, go to Olivia's website, oliviaflorian.com. And she is such a creative. And those are some of your paintings behind you. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's always posting on her Facebook page too, in her groups that you'll want to be a part of. So you'll need to look Olivia up on Facebook because her creativity is astounding. She has some paintings that will just so speak to your soul. And then she also does a lot of creative body painting where she'll do like a film of the paintings that she's done on her arm. And then she'll write this beautiful poetry that goes along with this. And it's very, very touching, very soul supportive, creative. So I absolutely love her creativity and what she brings out in her clients, because we are creative beings. We just aren't creative in the same ways because that's what makes life the variety of life.
Yeah.
So what's like one thing that you would tell somebody to maybe just peek the door open on their creativity? Like with your clients, is there one little activity that they can maybe incorporate or start thinking about that would bring a little bit, crack that door of creativity open?
Well, I would, to open it, to crack it open, I would add the word of playfulness, because what cracked mine open again, or expanded it a lot, was just what you were describing with the body painting. It was a way to contact more of the inner child, that because like, oh, have I been allowed to draw on my arm as a kid? Probably not, because there was such a little rebel kid that came out when I thought, oh, I will try that out. And so think playful and just simple thing, a few minutes. So let the child play, and maybe your inner child is more wants to, you can imagine the child really, so invite that child to express. So how would it express? Would it be making face in your mirror? Would it be just taking the body painting and just see what's happening and see if you can express an emotion, or just, oh, I've done that, and let it play? Or any 5 minutes practice that you can just jot down. You can doodle. There is a lot of inspiration on the internet too around doodling, because it's also a way to don't try to achieve something. It's not like it has to be the big thing. Just how can I play? What feels joyful? So a 5 minute drawing doodle. Is it on yourself? Is it on the painting? Is it outside in, arranging something in the garden and make it do piling some stones? Just let the child play.
I like that, because we have to almost think, even think back about when you were a kid. What were some of those kind of creative things that attracted your attention? you know, whatever it have to be, playing with clay or playing in the dirt or taking a walk in the woods or looking for frogs when you take a walk or whatever it is that was playful for your child may still be ring true for you today. You know, so
Yeah, and
go ahead.
if it has been repressed in any way, just like opening that door of, hey, if I was 5 now, what would I do? And you will, I can see my smile going up when I just invite that in me. So, oh yeah, I will try that. And so that's when you look at my creative videos, it's really that I'm following these breadcrumbs of, oh yeah, painting in my arm is liberating, and oh, but I love movement and I don't need to look intelligent, polished.
Right.
On the contrary, it's like, what's going on in my mind? And I can have this little malicious little girl coming through. So both the woman and the girl being there, it's so liberating. So
Right.
play with yourself in the mirror of what do you love to be right now?
Yeah, I was even thinking about those little, you know, the little hand shadows that people do on a wall, you know, with the light, and they make little images or critters or whatever. Even something so simple as that can crack open that creativity, because I think our creativity, as we allow it to start seeping through into our lives, that it even grows bigger. Do you see that in some of your clients that, well, they may have progressed from doodling on paper to maybe actually drawing something on a canvas or painting something on a canvas? So, you know, you progress.
Yes, and it's progress. Yeah, it's really making room and noticing, oh, that felt really nice, really good. And then suddenly you notice that, oh, and I'm also creative in what was a problem. That's what we were talking previously while I'm playing here. Then suddenly this business thing that I didn't have any ID solutions just felt dreadful. So, oh yeah, I can do that. Just in the middle of playing a moment. So yeah, and then noticing, that was interesting, the result. I mean, when I began to do the body painting, it was, yeah, let's see. And after a while I was amazed, like, so interesting what's coming through that. And you can never imagine just when you follow one impulse where it leads you, and it's really beautiful. So trust the impulse.
Yes, I agree. Also, do you think, I'm a very big proponent of journaling, and to maybe even write down, like if we decided to have a creative session and we're starting to make progress, actually kind of write down our experience and maybe how we felt, the good feelings that we felt, and maybe even those aha moments that happened during that session. Because the thing is, when you document in your journal what's going on with your life and how this little step led to this little step, which led to that little, you can witness your progress, your growth, because you're going to come back at the end of that particular journal, you know, and you're going to go back and read what you started with, and you're going to see your progress. And that's really what we've been so suppressed from, celebrating our progress.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's time to, you know, kind of do that happy dance. I am making progress. I am becoming more creative.
Yeah, exactly. We need to create these moments where we can look back, and instead of being focused on what's left to do, what's left to improve, it's because this is never ending, and that's we need to change the mindset that this is not meant to be ended, but what we can do is really look behind and see, oh yeah, that's true. 1 year ago, I couldn't do that. I wasn't
Yes.
able to handle that situation, or I didn't know that I loved so much doing art. And now I'm doing it regularly, which I didn't allow myself. So have this possibility to look back. So it's a way to, oh, I can celebrate where I am here and now. I don't need to wait to come to the next goal to celebrate myself. And that's also what opens more life in ourselves, because this thing of I've done something on my list and now there are 10 more.
Yes.
Because I've done that. Oh, and there is more. Yes, there is more. But see, where are you coming from? So I love your journaling tip, because that's really a beautiful way to have a reminder of where have we been, and see that actually life is expanding more than we notice. We are so,
yeah, if we just, because we're very forgetful people. I am a very forgetful person. So if I put something down and set it down in my journal, and then I can come back and refresh, my progress. And then I go, yes, I am doing better. I can acknowledge that. Because that we need that encouragement. And if we forget where we used to be because it's starting to feel normal to be, built up and actually more joyful and more fulfilling in life, more fulfilled, that sometimes we forget what it was like before, and we don't notice our progress.
Yeah.
We don't notice our growth. And so it's always such a woohoo, when we can actually go back and look. Yeah, I used to be there. Just like you said, a year ago, I couldn't have handled this, or I would have handled it so poorly. But now I had this incident, and I actually was able to do it in a gracious ease and flow way. I like that. So will you speak to us a little bit how people can work with you? Because let me tell you, folks, I have worked with Olivia. I have been in some of her group sessions, and they are powerful, and you want to include some of her coaching with you. You want to come to Olivia. She is on Facebook. She has her website. So will you speak to us a little bit about what you offer?
Yes. So there are two things, and we named the community, the Facebook group, where you can connect, and it's fully alive with Olivia. So it's the topic that we have been taking today, where once a week I invite all the group to take a creative conversation. So create more of what we want. So opening for something that we need to talk more about, connect more to what's true for us, do it in a container that is allowing, so that you don't need to know, because we are talking about things where in life we need to follow the breadcrumbs. So by having a safe space where you can just voice it and feel, yeah, this is feeling good, and then you have the support to go forward with it. So that's the kind of conversation I will have regularly in that group. And another aspect that you can try is come to a group session. I have a free workshop. Normally, you can look on the website for the date. There is once in a while a free workshop where you can just assess where are you right now in life in these different areas, and have a aha moment of what's needed for going next. So these are the first connections that you can do with me.
I like that. And you also have like VIP days and
Absolutely.
and
If you feel,
you do retreats. And so there's
yeah,
so much, a wealth of information on her website, oliviaflorian.com. So if you'll look on her website, now this new Facebook group, this is actually a new group that you're creating, correct? It's
yeah.
a private group,
It's a
right?
private group so that we have this
You have the safety.
container,
Yeah.
that safety where we are on the same page. We know what are the way we want to be together, so that we have this like-minded people who wants to explore, are ready to open up their minds, and want support for just being more of themselves, being more true in life, and act more from their core than what we have learned
Right.
from old conditionings. So that's one part.
Right. I like that. I really enjoyed being in the creative workshop that I was a participant in. So, y'all, she has so many ways to work with her. And if you are wanting to crack that little creative side of you open so that you can live more fully alive, not compartmentalized anymore, actually live the full rounded life that you intended when you came into this life. So, do you have any closing words of wisdom that you would like to share with us? One other little nugget of gold or something that you can share?
One is that comes to mind is allow yourself to make a pause. So break down the pattern, just breathe. Each time you feel something going a little bit off, it's always worth at least a minute of break. Just let things go down and notice what's happening from these short pauses, and introduce them and see the magic come from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, starting to allow yourself to see that magic, that you are the creator of your life and you want it to be fully alive. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I cannot believe we're already finished for this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any of the shows, the episodes, and also that you're welcome to visit our website, maryannpack.com, where you'll find all of our services and free offerings and everything that we do in support of your transformation. And be sure and visit Olivia's website also, oliviaflorian.com. So just remember, y'all, that you are joy looking for a way to express.
Yeah.